all three and I'm out. Take it away, Soph.
Hello and welcome to another conspiracy episode of the Sophuckit Podcast, where we are talking about the moon landing. Is it a hoax? Is it real? I think it's a hoax, but what do you guys think? Make sure to send me your AMAs, ask me anything on Sophuckit.com. Tune into the YouTube. We are also available on Spotify and anywhere you listen to your podcasts at. So, is the moon landing a hoax? What do you guys think?
Possibly.
I think it's hard enough to keep a secret between three people. So 50,000 people who for NASA or contracting companies who did work for NASA, it'd be really difficult to keep a conspiracy that big, a secret. I think it's probably more likely that it's real.
Well, we have like some things like the flag moving. Like, is there air in space?
No, there's no atmosphere on the moon.
Right. So why is the flag waving?
I couldn't say, to be honest. I think it's either they left it there and it was just tilting back and forth and they had some movement to it. Gravity is 1/6 of what it is here on the Earth. So if it had some sort of momentum and it was going back and forth, that's possible. Also, there were wires they stuck into the flag so that it would stand straight out like that. Otherwise, it would have just draped down.
Yeah,
So
they did say that they
There's
had
black
like a pole at the top of the flag holding it. Like, I don't know though.
I was going to say, the other thing that is really convincing is when they did the golf shot on the moon, where they hit the golf ball. They would have to make a very special golf ball to travel that velocity on Earth's surface. So I think the way it flew over there, the trajectory it went, that kind of proves something about the gravity being 1/6 of Earth's gravity. So, Mano?
I didn't know that they did a golf ball shot on the moon.
Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to find a video for it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they, well, I mean, they're talking about, like, shadows and stuff like that, but, I mean, their camera's not going to, like, film in the dark, so they have to have some sort of light. So it's going to create a shadow. The flag thing, I don't know. There's the space shuttle or whatever, it still has to run while it's up there to keep producing oxygen for them. So it could be some kind of like an after exhaust or something like that. Could cause, a little bit of flag waving. However, there's the big question of, can they get to the moon? Can they, get that far into space? Because of there's the radiation belt or whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it.
Hyperbelt.
And the fact that our radars and satellites and everything have never picked up anything coming into the Earth's atmosphere. So, I mean, like, when people talk about UFOs or what, like, UAPs now or whatever, well, they're not coming from space because, like I said, we don't have anything coming into the atmosphere.
And
so if we don't have anything coming in, I mean, something had to have to come in.
there's also there were no stars in the footage. Like, you're in space, aren't you supposed to see stars up there?
That's true. However, I think the camera equipment they had back then was pretty bad, so its ability to pick up light from those lenses were probably not great. And as far as things that come back into Earth's atmosphere, the atmosphere has multiple levels. There's the mesosphere, the stratosphere, the troposphere, and then at those different levels, one of those levels, a lot of things tend to burn up in the atmosphere, and that's why like a lot of those particles and things don't necessarily make it all the way down to their surface. So that's, I think, maybe answers some of that question. As far as the command module that was like still orbiting the moon with Michael Collins while Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were on the surface in the lunar lander, he stayed up pretty high at a pretty good altitude, and that's why they needed a lunar lander to act as both a landing unit and as a launching pad when they had to go back up and do lunar orbit rendezvous when the two ships came back together to bring the astronauts back together in the command module. So. Sorry if I'm going too nerd on you. This is just something I've studied since I was a kid. So.
No, I mean, thank you. I want someone like you. It's hard for me to believe because I think there's a firmament like we talked, about last episode, and a firmament you cannot go through, you cannot surpass. So, have we been to the moon? I don't think the moon is something you can walk on. Like, I don't think it's 3D. I think it might be, some people say it's plasma, some people say, but I don't think that it's three-dimensional. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I would say just from like the actual laws of the world, like physics, like so the moon has a certain mass and it pulls on the Earth's surface, and that's why we have the tidal waves that we have and the ocean currents. So like I think if it was flat, not three dimensional, we wouldn't have as much of a pull on the ocean surface that would cause that kind of condition. So like that to me is like some proof going towards like its existence and its shape and mass. Um, yeah, so that would go with that for that answer as far as what compels me to believe it. Also, like I think they put a lot of money and a lot of work in it, so it'd be crazy to not have done it. But at the same time, I understand your skepticism, because while I love my country and I love the people like you, find people in it, I don't trust my government all the time. They definitely lie to us about a lot of shit, and so it stands to reason that they might be lying to us. And like the UAVs that you're talking about, or UAPs, they cover stuff up, and then when the people from the CIA come and whistleblow, but they're still on the payroll for the CIA, I have to quite question the whistleblowing part. Like, is this the stuff that they want us to hear, and it's been fed to us so that like it's to like throw us off, like maybe counterintelligence? Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to trust our government sometimes. It really is.
Like, if they have us over here looking, we're not paying attention over here. What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Misdirection.
Exactly.
Sure. Weapons of mass distraction,
Exactly. Like, there's always some big something going on around election time. Like, I just don't, because, like, okay, we could be funding NASA, which, like I said last time, means to deceive in Hebrew. We could be giving them billions and billions of dollars to make such a good moon landing footage to convince everybody, when really it was just taped in Hollywood on Earth somewhere.
And see,
like a wag the dog kind of performance.
Since they put in that much time and money and all that stuff, I mean, they were kind of giving themselves a deadline. Hey, we want to go, we're doing it now. Well, if they say, oh, hey, we failed, well, we can't put this on TV. This is our moment, and maybe they came out with another plan, because I was on board the whole full 100% with the whole moon landing until they explained that radiation belt. I can't remember the years or whatever that they fired the nuclear warheads into it, and it just expanded it. And when the moon landing was 1969, we haven't been back since.
Right.
Why?
Yeah, why?
And it's just like I was telling the story before the show, is like, if there's one guy, Elon, who can get there, it'd be him, but he's not making it. So, it's 2025. We should have at least driven by it since then. Mm. And that's why I think they're in a rush to try to get Mars or whatever inhabitable. So when Earth is screwed, we got a place to go.
If they were going to do that, why are they creating bunkers?
Because not everybody's got Elon's money.
I mean, these bunkers cost billions and billions of dollars.
Zuckerberg's got more than one.
Mars? Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because the cost of propelling something into space is about $10,000 a pound. And also the conditions on the surface of Mars is very, very cold. And it would be very, very expensive to terraform Mars and to create an atmosphere. I think it would cost less money to fix Earth than it would to go to Mars and move a bunch of people there. But, I could be crazy. That could be wrong, but that's what it seems like right now with the cost of things.
Rich people are going to do rich people things.
That's true.
The technology that they had back in the 1960s, 1969, it wasn't good, I don't think. And not good enough to go in space. Come on.
Not by our...
I mean, the TI-89 is more powerful than the computer that was on the lunar lander and the command module, both. Yeah. The astronauts were literally programming the computer in hexadecimal. That's a pain in the ass. If you ever have to, you're a computer programmer, that's a pain in the ass. That's crazy.
I've not
And
ever
our
had to
iPhones
do
are
that.
like a lot more powerful, but I mean, plus we keep under wraps like how advanced our technology actually is. Like we had at school I went to, we'd have speakers come and speak to us, whatever. And one guy worked for, I think it was either NSA or NSC, is whatever building's in the White House.
NSA, yeah, National Security Agency.
And he's a mathematical engineer. He said, for instance, you take the VCR, Sanyo or whoever came out with it, and he said we had it 20 years before they did. We make it, we sell it to them, so they can sell it back to our people, and we make all the big profit. Mm-hmm. And they said, you take every bit of technology, that's how it works. We get it first, and we sell it. So it's like every house after 1978 or 74, something like that. Like even the sheetrock in their houses is lined where they can hear you.
That does make sense because, our technology has been super advanced, like, way before Jesus Christ, I think. So I can see how, but the government hides it from us. So I can see how the government might have, the secrets of how to go to space or whatever, if you could go to space, and just be keeping it from the public like they do everything else. So if only somebody could get into the Vatican archives and get that information, man, that'd be awesome.
And to help you out, he's absolutely right about the NSA's level of technology versus what we are allowed to see in general public. I can show you the credentials I have, but I did spend some time working for the government. The NSA has what they call the NSA Technology Transfer Program, where they take like really sophisticated technology that they have available to them, and they will decide which commercial organization on the market can bring it to market, commercialize it, make money from it, and a lot of that profit will then go back to the NSA to help pay for that sort of thing. So like I put some links in the side chat for you guys to check some of those out. There's a PDF document that explains some of it, and a couple of websites that explain the licensing program they have, why people would want to get involved with that program, what the benefit is to them, and what they're supposed to do to pay the NSA back for being allowed to join that program. So yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for that.
That helps. Sure.
Thank you.
And I also put the video of Alan Shepard hitting the golf ball in the moon for you guys.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll have to check that out. What about the shadows? Why are there shadows supposedly on the moon that were filmed?
I would assume there was a light source either on the lunar craft or it was. I don't think it would have been sunlight. If it was sunlight, then it was very little bits of it, because for them to stand out in the sun like that would get really hot on the moon surface. So like that would have been problematic for them because there's no atmosphere to protect them from the solar rays on there.
Yeah.
So either the suits protected them or there was lights on the actual lunar lander that helped them with their stuff while they were up there. That's the only thing I can explain that would do the shadows. And if there was multiple lights from different angles, those different vectors of the lights would cause different types of shadows on the surface that wouldn't necessarily go in the same direction.
Right. And but there's like some ocean or sea, something's on the
Sea of Tranquility. Yeah.
Yes. No actual water, but they believe there used to be water, maybe.
There used to be water, or I know that they recently discovered that there are oceans below the surface of the moon. So like we can't see it from here, but below like the tectonic plates that we would have here, just like we have aquifers on Earth. Like in Indiana, you can't bury a human body without putting it in a concrete case, because if you do, when the body decomposes, that could get into the aquifers and the water supply that people drink from like well water, right? So they believe on the moon that there are like undersurface oceans there as well, and supposedly they found them on Mars as well. But I don't have any of that stuff right now in front of me to show you guys. Yeah. Now, when they said Sea of Tranquility, like the moon has mountains and different types of surfaces. So when they said Sea of Tranquility, it was basically like a large valley, like that they landed into. So like it was almost like if there was water, that would have filled up that whole valley and made it like an ocean or a sea. So I think that's why they call it the Sea of Tranquility. Yeah.
So what about there was no blast crater on the moon? If you're taking off, it's gonna leave a little something. Why was there not a crater?
There wasn't a crater, but the lunar lander was in two sections. It was designed by Northrop Grumman, and the two sections was the first section that landed and created a landing platform for the lunar lander. That section actually became the launch pad for the other half of the spacecraft. When it took off, it left that piece behind. So any impact would have been toward that part of the device that was left behind, and not necessarily on the surface where it landed. That piece is still sitting on the moon surface, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know a lot of information about this, so that's awesome.
I had planned to. My plan was to go to the Air Force Academy, and I wanted to fly the space shuttle when I was a kid. That was my whole plan, but didn't work out that way. So instead, I got to work on the wind tunnel for the space shuttle. That's about as close as I got.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Well, I have something I want to try. Taking
Sure.
your information with, obviously, you know a lot about the moon and the moon landing. So I'm going to read off some alleged reasons that people think the moon landing would have been faked, and you're going to kind of argue the fact of your point of why it's not.
I'll try.
So, number one, the space race pressure. So, hoax believers say that the U.S. needed a huge win over the Soviet Union and couldn't afford to lose. The idea is that America was desperate to appear technologically superior and would fake a landing to claim victory. What do you think?
I've heard that.
I mean, I know people think the technology was really primitive and we needed to beat the Russians. There was definitely a political component to it. I personally think it's sad that we didn't continue going to the moon, because I think there's more that we could have done as far as research. I think faking it, though, would have been discovered later on, because, I mean, as recently as like a couple of years ago, the Indian space program from India has literally sent devices up to the moon, and I believe they did surveys from above before they landed the equipment, and those photographs would have revealed that we lied. The Chinese have been up there as well, so if we had lied about it, I think that stuff would have been discovered by now. As far as like the blast crater thing, like I think we talked about that. Uneven lunar surface for the shadows, the flag waving thing is just it just was like, because it was the poles moving, exposure to the camera, just the light was not there for the cameras, bad camera. Yeah, but I think mostly because like they were able to spot some of those devices from the vehicles that have been sent since then. I think that kind of proves that the stuff was up there. I think the research we did following Apollo 11, like Apollo 13 didn't get to land, but Apollo 17, they actually sent up geologists, people who were like rock specialists and guys who knew about rocks and mountains and stuff like that. Those guys were actually just scientists who had to be trained into the astronaut corps, because they needed guys who were not just able to go up there, but guys who actually understood the hardcore science behind geology. And so when they trained those guys to go up there, those guys got to do a lot of research and lab experiments aboard the spacecraft and bring some samples back that I think helped them understand the surface of the moon better. But yeah, I think it was just like the raw materials that we had brought back kind of like to me kind of since we did. Also, this is a funny story. There was a guy who worked for NASA at the time who had access to these moon rocks that they brought back to the moon. He thought it'd be really cool if he stole some, right? Took it back to the hotel where his girlfriend was at, lay them on the bed, and make love to his girlfriend on that bed. Before they even got their clothes off, the Secret Service busted into his hotel room and arrested him. And I think he had to do some time. He got a lot of trouble for that. They collected the samples back, they got those back, but he had to face some serious penalties for that. That's something you guys could Google and check out. That's a real story. But kind of crazy. He didn't get to score, which is really sad, because that would have been interesting too. But it is what it is. One of the things I think is really interesting is like recently Boeing was supposed to rescue some astronauts from the space station, but it took a really long time. So for a really long time, there was a man and a woman on the space station alone together. I just had this really feeling that like in 9 months we're going to have the first baby that was conceived in space be born here on Earth, but I haven't heard anything about that yet. But
so they just got back.
Yeah. But I'm thinking like you're up there alone with a chick. What are the chances they might have got down? Like they got nobody else up there with them. So who knows? It wouldn't have any effect on the baby like developing in the womb up there. That'd be crazy. I'd be interested to see what would happen.
Would the zero gravity affect that?
Yeah, that's what I wonder, right? Like,
that's
would she have the movement down there the same way?
Because I mean, sperm and egg's not going to know what to do in zero gravity. But
right. Yeah.
Squirrely.
But the really cool thing about zero gravity is reverse cowgirl and doggy style are the exact same thing because there's no z-axis. Think about gravity.
Oh my gosh. All right. So
Sorry, I hope that's not too
no,
X-rated for this podcast.
it's not. So fuck it. No, nothing is too X-rated for this podcast. Okay, so the second one we have is Cold War propaganda, and the hoax believers claim that a moon landing would boost national pride, trust in government, and global influence. Some think the government wanted a massive PR win to unify the country. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, there was a lot of political stuff behind it. They wanted to do that. So, one of the things that people contemplate is what advances humankind further: conflict or cooperation. The Soviet model was cooperation, everybody working together for the good of the state. Whereas America has this real belief in the individual should have like rights, the individual should be respected, the individual pursuits should be driven. And we have a conflict model here, just like you see with the Republicans and Democrats always fighting out to figure out which policy is going to be the best. The Soviets definitely won the space race as far as getting the first guy up there with Yuri Gagarin and Sputnik up there. But after that, they were on our coattails the whole time. That conflict model that America developed has done a lot to advance the evolution of man. I mean, the space program, the development of the MRI machine, the development of the internet, all came from that conflict that we thrive off of. So if you have to ask what's going to drive humankind further, it's both technically. I mean, there are some things that we work together here to make things happen, but also that conflict drives innovation and competition. And so I think we saw some of that. And yeah, we needed to win against the Soviets. And I think it was important because the sphere of influence that we control around the world, I think, has made the world a better place versus what they would have done if they were in control. You know?
That's very interesting. Good take on that. What about money, funding, and NASA survival? Another common belief is that NASA had spent billions with little to show. They needed results or risked losing funding and faked a successful mission that would justify expenditures and secure future budgets.
I think that's a valid take, but I think if they would have got caught like faking stuff, that would have been detrimental to them, and it would have destroyed the credibility of NASA and the government officials that were backing it. Because if you may not know this, but the vice president is technically in charge of NASA's space program for the United States.
Yes.
So he is at the very top of the leadership structure. And if something had gone badly, it would have made the White House look really bad. And so if they would have got caught lying or duping the American public, people would have gotten a lot of trouble for that. And I think they had a lot of risk.
Like Hoover days too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when Jagger was still running the FBI, like you wouldn't look about that.
Yeah. And he had enough blackmail material and everybody he would have known. I think if something was happening, he probably would have shed the light on some of that, you know?
Yeah.
Today we have Puff Daddy and Jeffrey Epstein, but back then it was J. Edgar Hoover, you know?
Oh, that's so funny. Daddy.
I think he's a weird dude, but I mean, he's a bulldog at it too.
He was a weird dude. I heard he did some weird things, you know?
Yep.
Cross-dressing and whatnot.
Good at his job.
There's also the technological limitations. People who argue the fact that, the 1960s technology, like I said before, wasn't advanced enough for real landing. They point to computers with less power than a modern calculator, and they argue the mission was staged because a real success seemed impossible.
I can see why they would have thought that, because back then computers were like a new thing. They took up entire rooms.
Exactly.
And, so like the Apollo tech was very specialized. It was reliable. And it was redundantly engineered. They had redundancies on top of redundancies on top of redundancies because they couldn't afford to lose astronauts in space. So they had to have 3 backups for every system that was there, and they did. And what I thought was really interesting was the power generation equipment they had on there. They had a nuclear reactor on board these spacecrafts. Which to me is really cool, but also really dangerous. And I was kind of like, I would have been concerned about flying around with a nuclear reactor under my seat.
Yeah.
But they were able to pull it off, and they did it. And just like we have nuclear submarines, but these things were a smaller scale, but not unlike some of these the satellites that have been launched into space to go for deep space telemetry and research. They also have these kinds of nuclear reactors on board to produce power. And I think, if anything, it is a credit to American ingenuity and the hard work and the brilliance of the engineers that came up in America at the time. And I honestly think if like the Apollo 13 disaster had happened on modern day, we don't have people smart enough to bring those astronauts back. I think we're lucky that those guys back then were so smart. I do question whether we have smart people like that right now, though. Yeah.
The more you know, the more you know. Okay, so the last one Is Hollywood capability, now this is a big one. A lot of people argue that film technology is like 2001, A Space Odyssey proved it could be staged, This belief claims NASA could have hired filmmakers to create a believable simulation.
Yeah, I believe they could have. Yeah, I believe they absolutely could have. Our special effects people in Hollywood do a really great job at telling stories. And I think it's to their credit that they're great artists and they're creative thinkers and that they can create the illusion of all kinds of amazing things. And I think that's awesome. But in this case, I think it would have been really hard to take an entire film crew, fake the thing, and then make sure they all shut up about it afterwards. Because, like I said, it's really the best way to keep a secret between three people is to know where the other two bodies are buried.
That's true.
Somebody's going to talk eventually.
That's the one thing that drives me back to maybe. But, like, I don't know. What if they take all of our billions in dollars that we think that we're putting into NASA to go to space into actually they take that money as hush money, Hey, I pay you. Make sure you don't talk. Yeah. Could be. You never know.
I mean, if they did do that, I feel like there would be the case of somebody like saying, hey, you paid me to shut up, but I ran out of money, so I'm going to need another check. And like that would open up the door to extortion on a real bad level. So I don't know. I think they would have to kill those people if they were going to do it. And if those people had disappeared, their family members would have been like, hey, where'd my people go? And maybe they made them disappear somehow still and had a good plausible excuse for it. It's very possible. I don't think it's what happened, but again, like that's a reasonable story. And I love my country, but I don't necessarily trust your government, so they might have something to that story.
I know, the government is so...
Like they want me to believe Lee Harvey Oswald with that gun killed Kennedy, and they want me to believe this 20-year-old kid with no training whatsoever somehow shot Charlie Kirk, and that Donald Trump didn't hire an assassin to make sure he got to the White House with that one shot that he survived. I don't always buy these stories, so I get it.
And sure. Yeah, I've always thought it was pretty funny that the space outfits are, they look like underwater suits,
That's actually how they train in the beginning. They put those suits, they go into a large swimming pool at NASA to train in zero gravity conditions or low gravity conditions. So
even when they train
simulation they do underwater, yeah.
Even when they train an actor to like play Superman to get the same movements, they put them in a pool to train.
And I heard that's how they film it. They put them in water, a large body of water, and hey, we're in space. Ooh.
Another thing they do is they will take actors, like for example, they filmed Apollo 13 and they had to do the zero gravity scenes for Apollo 13. They actually took Tom Hanks and the rest of the guys, Kevin Bacon, and they took them up in a 747, really, really high, like 50,000 feet, and then they dropped the plane. They went straight down, and because the plane was flying towards the ground at such a high velocity, they unbuckled their seats and they were basically just floating around the aircraft, and that's how they were able to actually create that illusion that they were flying in zero gravity. They had 60 seconds to film whatever they needed to film, and then they had to get back in their seats again so the plane could level back out again. They had to keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing that. And I'm pretty sure they threw up all over that plane while they did that. But that's how they were able to do zero gravity scenes from Hollywood sometimes.
Have you seen those footages of people showing like these people in space supposedly, and like the equipment fails and all of a sudden they're not in zero gravity, their string, breaks or whatever?
I haven't seen that yet. I would love to see a video of that, just like that would help me like make up my mind if maybe we're being duped or not.
Okay, so the footage showed this guy with a rope behind him, and like at first you couldn't see it, and then you could plainly see his shirt was like attached to something holding him up, so realistically he wasn't in zero gravity. And then there was one where like they went to grab a coffee cup and the coffee cup was just floating, and then all of a sudden it just drops, and it's just like fishy, quite fishy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as far as the tether, it's very possible they tether themselves to the spacecraft, so in case like they did jump too high and went floating and didn't want to take off, possibly had a tether for that. That's the best explanation I have for that one. Couldn't say otherwise, unless they took footage of something that was being done for dramatic effect and passed it off as something that was real. Yeah.
Well, let's go on to our next segment, the Ferret Files. Enjoy, guys. Okay, everyone. Today I've got
Rom, today's about me.
Tober.
Step 1, steal the socks. Step 2, destroy your favorite pen. And step 3,
Wait, destroy my pen? Tober?
don't act surprised, human.
Okay, fair. Now, should we show them your signature trick?
Behold the legendary ball bite.
Alright, Tober, let's give our viewers some life advice.
Rule 1, nap anywhere. Rule 2, steal snacks.
Genius, genius, genius. I'm taking notes. Anything else?
Rule 3, subscribe or face the wrath of the sock thief.
You heard it here, folks. Tiny dictator, huge attitude. Until next time, this is the Ferret Files. See you guys next time.
Bye, guys. Keep your socks close.
Come up from space.
I think, yeah, domination is important. I think making sure that we're the ones in charge, we're the one calling the shots, is important for geopolitical politics. Because if we let China's sphere of influence grow and ours shrinks, then all of a sudden they're the ones calling the shots, and that's very dangerous because we don't want China calling the shots and stuff like that. We want to be the ones calling the shots because America is the beacon of light in the world, and we're the hope, and they are not. They're very oppressive, and we don't want them in charge. Very important that we stay in charge.
As much as people might want to complain about it, we should probably be in charge of the shit that we're fucking trying to be in charge of, because if not,
Yes, I mean,
we're all going to die.
say I believe red, white, and blue. Say I'm a patriot, but you know what? Yes, that's true, and I think there's a reason for it. There's a reason people all around the world want to come to America and not go to China, because this is the place with the most opportunity. As much as we have problems here, this really is the best place in the world to live, and we have more opportunities than anybody else. And if you're going to make it, this is the place to do it, man.
I was talking to one girl, she's in Venezuela. She said, your poorest day and worst day is better than our best day.
That's so
Because
sad.
they live in a socialist country, and she said they go for a month or more without water or electric because that's how the government dictates it. So remember, kids, socialism is bad.
Yep. I spent some time in Cuba, and I saw firsthand the failures of socialism, and it's very bad. And greed is one of the biggest problems of failure. When I went to Cuba, the richest people were the politicians, the second richest were the military, and cigar rollers made more money than doctors over there. You have to go to school for a long time to become a doctor. Now, they have some of the best doctors in the world, but they weren't paid very well. They weren't treated very well.
Wow. Gosh. I
It's
couldn't
like,
imagine.
Like, I'm
Very
talking
oppressive.
about Joe Rogan earlier, and I heard him once say on his podcast, we are the greatest experiment that's ever been done. We are a 250-year experiment. Nobody's ever done this before. We're doing a pretty good fucking job of it.
Most European countries are thousands of years old. We're only 250 years old. Yet we're still doing better economically and socially than everybody. Why is that? Here's why. It's a pluralist society. We have Democrats, Republicans, fascists, communists. We all come together to exchange ideas freely because of the First Amendment. And the best ideas rise to the top because of policy. That is what makes America so great.
And our forefathers
I
had
believe
to have a checks and balances system to where not one guy's going to take over, or one group, or one party.
Yeah.
Thought ahead.
It's not perfect, but it's the best system anybody's ever come up with yet.
Yeah.
Yep. And we didn't even need technology for that.
God bless America.
God bless
Yes, sir.
America. Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
even though you had a lot of good insight, you're not going to convince me that the moon landing was real. Sorry, but
It's okay.
great
First
job.
Amendment.
I loved having you on the show. Thank you, Manimal, for being on the show again. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe, like, follow, comment, all that good stuff. Share. And catch us next time, next Monday, for another conspiracy episode. Also,
Can't wait.
remember to put in your AMAs. And if you want to be on the show, book with me. And you can do that on Sophuckit.com. You can also check out our new merch and donate if you want to help the show grow. So thank you guys very much. Stay you, stay bold, keep thinking, whatever you want to think. So fuck it. Bye, guys.